What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. Each episode, we take a look at classic and iconic films from two perspectives, that of the diehard fan and that of the uncultured, unwashed who's never seen it before until now. As a general reminder, you can watch us on YouTube or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the like. Just search for the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. And remember to like, review, and subscribe. It really helps us out and get in front of more people, more fun, friends and such. Friends of friends. Get your mom's parents involved too. They'll like it, I think, right? Maybe,
Yeah,
perhaps.
your mom's parents will really love it.
Your grandparents will dig the shit out of this. Also, be sure to check us out on Instagram at UCU Podcast for all the latest happenings and the whatnot. Again, shout out to our, you know, on staff, on air personality now. She can add to her repertoire, Ryan.
Employee number 3,
Right? Employee number 3 acting like employee number 1. That's what you love to
creating
see.
creating viral videos for UCU, like really getting the Instagram up and running.
You need to look at the graph, Joe, from when she took over. It is a spike.
The
It is
analytics.
the analytics. We'll
Someone
get
actually professionally running this shit.
yeah, right. Actually giving a shit. But hey, you know what? That's how we do it here. So yeah, without further ado, let's just cast aside all this other stuff and let's pray, Joe, that if we're ever caught in a similar situation, that real cops would actually give half of a fuck as these LAPD cops and talk about speed.
Speed. Justin, this is our month of blockbusters,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So much of this movie, watching Speed for the first time, I had never seen Speed before, was about me learning to let go of things making sense. And
Yep.
I think that's really just like the spirit of a blockbuster, right? It's pure wild entertainment, even though not a single character in this movie makes choices that a regular human being would make or says
Absolutely not.
things.
Absolutely not. The only person closest to how a human being would act is Sandy B.
Daniels.
Is Sandy B.
Oh, no, not at all.
What?
Sandy B's the worst. I would say Jeff Daniels. Oh, no. God, we're going to fight on this one.
Oh, this is great.
Okay, wait. Real quick.
Yeah, rewind.
So we are on, what is this, episode 22?
This is 22. This is 22. Yep.
So we're in the middle of July. This is our blockbuster miniseries. We're talking about blockbusters usually taking place in the summers of past that really just kind of like broke the bank. They were huge smashes, huge parts of culture in an explosive way, right?
Yes.
Like we said earlier, Ryan filled in for episode 21,
Yep.
which was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. She hadn't seen it. You guys kind of filmed an episode while I was out on vacation.
Yep.
I don't usually I don't usually listen to our episodes after we record them just because I don't like hearing my own voice. And so this was like
Same.
a real treat for me because I got to like listen to it as just a viewer who hadn't heard the recording already.
Yeah.
It was really great. I loved the episode.
That's
Tell
amazing.
me about a little bit of a retrospective here. What were the pros? What were the cons? Are we having Ryan back? Is she fired?
So we had a lot of fun doing it, and it was really cool because, like you mentioned, like you heard in the episode, it was kind of a shoot from the hip kind of a thing. Because you were out of town and we were kind of struggling of like, well, or she was like, what am I going to do for content for the next 2 weeks while Joe is, out about the world doing his thing. And she's like, here's an idea. Here's an off the wall idea. What if I get on the show? And I was like, you want to? That's totally cool. And she's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's try it. And so it took like a day to kind of put everything together. And yeah, retrospectively, like we capitalized on the magic that you and I had found of doing the in-person thing, like in the same room, which we did for episode 20 for Tu Wong Fu. And same kind of vibes, it's a different conversation when you're in the same room as somebody.
I agree. And listeners, we will try to do more in-person recordings in the future. My house is a bit of a quarantine situation at this point. There's sinus attacks happening. which is why my voice sounds a little weak right now. And I was like, Justin,
So weak.
stay away, your family. Um,
Yeah. Oh man, because I had a whole outfit plan, Joe. It was going to be the skimpiest summer outfit
I
you
know we were going to record outside and it was going to get sweaty because it's
because
so fucking hot right now.
Speed is such a sweaty movie,
Mm-hmm.
and like it makes you sweat, and everybody in the film is sweating,
Here,
and
you'll
you feel it.
notice for folks who are watching at home on, YouTube and the like, I am kind of Keanu cosplaying right now. I specifically got like the white undershirt and the unbuttoned button down. So there is a bit of a thematic moment happening.
Yeah, we'll talk about the costuming of Keanu and how much I love it. Um,
Keanu, Keanu looks good in this movie.
he can fucking get it in this
Yes.
movie, dude. Uh,
Normally, I was thinking Keanu, like as an action star, is really great. Obviously, he's in some of the biggest action franchises of all time. You have Matrix, you have
John Wick.
John Wick, but he's not really known as like a jacked person. He's kind of like a thin guy, especially
Yeah,
in the Matrix. But in this one, you can tell he put on like some weight for this one. He's
he's a
playing,
little. Yeah,
yeah,
he hit the gym a little bit.
he's doing a little Stallone.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a few to get to that. But yeah,
Mhm.
so I wanted to talk about first impressions and my early history with this film. But I want your first impressions as you let the movie start and
Mhm.
wash over you. What did you know you were in for? Did you had any idea? Have
Okay,
any idea?
so going into Speed, I had never seen it. Obviously, honestly, the biggest impact that this movie has in my culture is the sequel and how bad it is and how it's called Cruise Control when it takes place on a boat, which I
Yeah.
think is the best thing in the world. That's the main thing I know about the Speed franchise. Is that the sequel is supposed to be horrible and it's like on a slow moving cruise ship, and
Yeah.
it's called Speed. Um, what else? I knew about the basic like premise where like, hey, this bus can't slow down or else it's going to blow up. We'll talk all about how that's an insane plan for a terrorist to have. It doesn't work for anyone.
No.
Um, and then I knew there was like a jump at some point. I knew there was going to be some major stunt with the bus going off. I thought it was going to be like on a bridge or something, like over water. But no, it's just like it's one of LA's apparently many unfinished and completely empty highways.
Yeah, right.
In the 90s.
The Department of Transportation and the infrastructure is just completely absent. There are stretches of highway unused. Insane.
Like, thank God.
I know, right? Like everything. Oh, just so happened 10 o'clock in the morning. No one's on that stretch of interstate for some reason at one of the biggest, most busy cities in the entire country.
Yeah,
Insane.
and I like the concept of having it in LA because obviously, like, traffic is going to play a part. I think just again, I don't want to shit on this movie so much because we're in blockbuster mode. It's about enjoying the spectacle of it all.
Yeah.
It's about getting caught up in the cinema. Let's just do the most. Let's be the most we can be here. Be all we can be, Army. Um,
Shout out Army.
shout out Army. We're sponsored by Army. No. Um,
Ugh.
so I tried to like stay away from notes on like incredulity about how like physics works in this movie.
Yep. Forget it.
Um,
Forget all that. Toss that physics book out the window.
right. I will say there were moments when the bus looked like it was going 25 miles an hour from the exterior standpoint, and they're like, "We're really rolling right now," and I'm like, "You guys would be dead right
Mm-hmm.
now."
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm coming into Speed. I know the basic premise. I know it's kind of launching Keanu as an action star. Is this before or after Point Break?
This is like 2 years after Point Break.
Okay. So he's already kind of hit a little bit.
Yeah, so like he had his moment in the late 80s with Bill and Ted and some other character roles, but then the turning point being Point Break in like 91, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one really catapulted him into mega stardom and, redefining, and we'll talk about this, but like redefining like what it is to be an action star
Uh-huh.
physically and more approachable to a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
So, my history with this movie, I'm pretty sure like either my grandfather or my dad owned this movie on VHS. I remember the actual physical tape, pulling it out and watching it. so many times. Obviously, it's an R movie. Like
It's an R movie that
doesn't
I
feel like it.
wonder why it was R. Like, it almost doesn't need to be an R movie, and I wonder if that was like good for its box office performance or not. Like, they say fuck like a few times, but you could easily see this being a PG-13 movie.
You're right, just a couple quick edits, and it could be a more heavy-handed kind of PG-13, but it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be really. It's just a pulse pounding kind of action flick.
Right.
But yeah, I watched this movie a ton, and this was like the closest I had ever gotten to ever wanting to be a cop or anything adjacent to a cop,
Yeah.
because being on a SWAT team just looked so fucking cool.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about, so the opening of this movie I thought was very
Let's
cool
let's talk
because
about
it completely threw me off because you go into this movie, it's called Speed, you know it's about a bus, and the first 5 minutes of credits are just going up and down an elevator shaft, listing out every single person's name individually that was involved with this film. So I was
it.
like,
Every person.
did I throw on Die Hard on accident? What's no? That's Dennis Hopper. What's happening? And so I do like the opening sequence with the elevator rescue because it does kind of set up this somewhat ridiculous relationship between our main cop protagonist and this crazy terrorist guy.
Yeah.
It at least it provides an arc there in terms of like he foiled him once. Now it's a fucking Saw game. We're gonna torture you.
Yeah, it's a wild opening, and that one just like you said, just the first act. You know, this movie is broken out into three acts essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not the classic three arc structure, it's elevator, bus, and then subway.
Oh,
eh,
the
are the
I thought the
spots.
movie was over, and then it was 30
Not
more
over.
minutes of stuff
It's
happening at
not
the end
over.
of this movie.
So yeah, like the opening scene where Keanu and Jeff Daniels are just being tactical badasses.
Mm-hmm.
That was just I remember like making like a vest to like have like all my things in it to like be a tactical SWAT guy, and I was like, this is so cool.
It's a cool thing to be. You know, you're like rescuing people, you're defeating terrorists. They're good guys.
But it's like, so the plot starts to happen, and it's like, oh no, this crazy guy set a bomb or whatever on an elevator, and then like boom, smash cut, every cop in LA descends upon this building. It's like, what in the world?
Led
In what
by
world would cops ever do this?
led by Joe Morton, who's the scientist guy from Terminator 2. Connections.
Big time connections, right?
Yeah.
See, this is why we do this.
No.
And yeah, like, so there's going to be a lot of like cop talk that I'm going to talk about throughout this whole episode, because
Sorry,
like
talk.
the response time and the just care that the police take throughout this whole movie is just like unheard of. Why
Mhm.
why would they ever respond so quickly? But yeah, so I remember vividly having the VHS, and putting it in and out, and putting it in our VHS fast rewinder. We
Mhm.
had one of those, so I could watch it again. I was obsessed with this movie.
Wait,
And
wait, wait. Just describe what a fast rewinder is.
okay, so first of all, a VHS tape is a physical media. It's about like an inch tall.
We had VHS. I know what a VHS
I don't
is.
know. You were born in 96, Joe, 95,
I was born in 94.
the year of this movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, so a fast rewinder is a separate device that is usually nested right next to your VHR.
Mm.
Um, and you pop it in, and it rewinds it incredibly fast, faster than the VHR ever could.
It's like if you work at the movie store, that's what you're doing down in the basement before you throw them back onto the shelves because
Well,
people need to watch Speed.
right. Or, I mean, the thing you were supposed to do before you took the movies back to Blockbuster was be kind, rewind.
That
Don't be
makes
an
sense.
asshole. Don't be an asshole. Return it the way you found it. So I remember doing that a ton. And
Mhm.
this is one of my first earlier memories of seeing a different actor, or an actor playing a different role, and my mind having to reconcile with that. Jeff Daniels being the main one. So I'd seen Dumb and Dumber a bunch of times before this, and seeing him in this role, my
Yeah.
brain had a hard time being like, oh, it's Harry from Dumb and Dumber.
Probably could not be a more different performance, I imagine.
This is a way better performance in my opinion
Uh-huh.
of Jeff Daniels. But I remember little me being like, "Hey, it's the guy from Dumb and Dumber." Anyway, never mind. So that was one of the things that I remember having to contend with in my young brain.
Yeah, that's like a foundational thing for kids figuring out how movies work, I think, is like figuring out what an actor is and
Hmm.
how you can kind of be in multiple roles and be multiple people across multiple films.
Hmm.
And here we are today with a SAG aftra strike, and they're wanting more money, and these kids are probably so confused growing up with these movies today because what are these actors doing?
I
Uh,
know.
we support the
We stand with SAG
yes.
for sure.
We're not gonna we're not
Fuck
gonna
you, fuck you, Bob
cross the
Iger.
line.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I love this movie so much. This much akin to your quick review of T2, the
Mhm.
soundtrack to Speed slams. It
Tell me
goes so
more.
hard.
Tell me more.
Like it plays over and over again, similar to the T2 theme.
Mhm.
Just that pulse pounding, just dun 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 dun. It's really just like
I mean, like,
fast moving, and it's good. I love it.
by necessity, the middle part of this movie cannot slow down. So it is, we are constantly going.
Yeah.
Except for like the small Jeff Daniels scenes where he's trying to like solve a mystery on the side and
Hmm.
not really sharing the screen with anyone else. I have thoughts about Jeff Daniels' character in this movie and the way his story arc ends.
How it just explodes. Yeah, I love it. It's
Yeah,
so crazy.
how Keanu Reeves loses his best friend, and then they're like cracking jokes on that bus 5 minutes later.
I
Uh,
know, it's so
it's
awful.
insane.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. This movie moves at such a clip, but it's so much fun. It doesn't feel like an hour and a half, even though it totally is.
yeah,
Three big chunks of 30 minutes, but hey, it's fun. But anyway, so yeah, this movie was released June 10th, 1994. Joe, you were 6 months old.
I think this. Yeah, I think this falls into a specific window where like you at that age were slowly starting to like watch these more grown-up movies.
Yeah.
We kind of did this with Pulp Fiction as well. It's kind of that mid 90s range where I'm just getting born, but Justin's kind of like formulating these like thoughts around like actiony pulpy films from the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, just coming into it. But yeah, so like kind of hitting back on like the theme of blockbusterness.
Mm-hmm.
This movie had a modest budget of like 30-ish thousand or 30-ish million dollars.
Which seems
30 to
kind of
37, right? But it cleaned up at the box office worldwide 350 million.
yeah.
Insane. And that's so like that is immediate like blockbuster, um immediate into the tier,
Mm-hmm.
explosions everywhere, top name, top billing actors and stuff, and then it's smack in the middle of summer, so like you get all the butts and seats.
Yeah, we're kind of defining Blockbuster here as butts and seats, big money, big actors, big celebrities involved, big visuals on screen, and big, I guess, amount of popularity and impact on the culture.
Yeah, this movie was talked about and riffed on late night like all the time, and
Mhm.
it was just the movie of or one of the movies of that summer.
Yeah, and
Um,
when you think about the impact of a movie like Speed, where you have this like terrorist character setting up a game for our protagonist to really solve, and it's life or death. You really see that pop up in movies going forward. Like obviously, like the Saw franchise goes insane and body horror-ish with it, but I also thought of Dark Knight and the scene where the Joker has the two ships kind of pegged against each other in terms of like who's going to blow up who first. I was really thinking about that this whole film.
yeah, that the even the little prop
Mm-hmm.
that he has looks
So many
similar.
kill switches in this.
I know,
Or
so
like
many.
what's it called? Like a dead man's switch or something, where like
Something like that.
you can't let it go or else it'll blow up.
Yeah, like a grenade kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of those. Super cool. But yeah, so this movie was directed by Jean Dubon, probably.
Cool.
Or I just watched an interview and he obviously butchers it as just Jan de Bont. That's not it.
Jan
Um,
Michael Vincent.
This January, Jan Michael Vincent. This director also did 1996's Twister,
Oh fuck yes, love
and
Twister.
the year following in 1997 did the sequel Cruise Control, right? 1999 did The Haunting. Did you ever catch that with Catherine Zeta-Jones, Liam Neeson, and
that's that's based on The Haunting of Hill House.
correct?
I did not, but I love the Netflix show from 2018.
It's not as good, but it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. And one of the last big things that Jean Debon did was 2003's Angelina Jolie's Laura Croft.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah.
We grew up with Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
Um,
totally did that. So like we're familiar with this guy's
yeah,
work,
this guy's
you know?
got like kind of a crazy impact on like mid '90s, early 2001s like action cinema.
Yeah, just like easy cash in, just like big explosions, big stars doing the kind of thing. So
Yeah.
even though I never knew this guy's name, crazy. But yeah, so stars Keanu Reeves, obviously a catalyst of sorts for him. You know, obviously coming into his own as Neo in The Matrix, and then of course John Wick, like we mentioned,
Mhm.
and a couple other action things that he's done since then. But like without this movie, he wouldn't have booked, you know, The Matrix and so forth.
Mhm.
This was a big maker for Sandra Bullock as well.
Is this how early Sandra Bullock is this? Like, what is she really in? I guess while you were sleeping, maybe before or after this.
Maybe before this, and I think also Practical Magic was about
Uh,
the same time or before this, a little before.
Practical Man, yeah. She's in some late '80s stuff and early '90s. Speed, it looks like I'm looking at Wikipedia. Speed leads into While You Were Sleeping,
Mm.
and then A Time to Kill, then Hope Floats, and then she's got like a lot of stuff in '99 and 2000 going into like Miss Congeniality. She becomes more of like a
Household name.
romantic comedy, but like lots of physical performance in
Yeah,
like a comedy way.
she is great in this movie. She's so just like adorable.
Gray hair.
Great hair. Not a lock out of place.
She gets the last line in the movie, and it's a sex joke while Jeff Daniels' body is probably still smoldering.
Still smoldering. That's
And
right.
then
This
they
movie.
kiss, and everyone on the street claps for them randomly.
Yeah, it's so weird. They're not even at all concerned.
I have deep feelings about this movie, Justin.
Yep, I know. Let's get into it. Dennis Hopper, of course, and Jeff Daniels. A tight, 116 minutes. Joss Whedon lent a big hand in writing a lot of the dialogue in this movie,
Okay.
and knowing that, and then upon this last rewatch, I can feel it. He definitely had a big hand in some of like the quippier things. You can tell if you're familiar with Joss Whedon's work,
I mean,
and it
there's
doesn't really stick.
like a Buffy element to it in terms of like action quippiness, though.
Yeah, just like silly little lines. I'm sure he wrote the last line that he has with his face off with Dennis Hopper.
I could
Don't get
spend
it?
2 hours talking about that line and what it means. So
Yeah, but I'm taller.
can we
Let's
just stop
diverge.
stop the podcast? Stop the podcast. We're gonna have a little bit of a corner here
Okay.
talking about
Mm,
Hopper talk.
Hopper talk.
So Dennis Hopper, we're going all over the place with the plot. I'll give a plot description, but it ends with kind of like a Mission Impossible esque showdown on top of a subway train between Dennis Hopper and Keanu Reeves. Dennis Hopper ultimately, they are lying horizontally on this train.
Hmm.
Dennis Hopper says something like, "But I'm like smarter," or something like that.
Yep, I'm smarter than you. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves maybe pushes him up a little bit so that his head is completely, his kappa is detated from his shoulders
Yes.
by an overhanging like lamp thing.
Yep.
You see it all, like full on like no head Dennis Hopper, and then Keanu says, "But I'm taller."
What
What does this mean? Should we like Reddit it right now? Speed.
does that mean? He has longer arms? Like he is taller, therefore I have longer
They're
arms, therefore I
lying
can push you.
horizontally. The first result I get when I Google it is a Reddit thread called "The One-Liner from the movie Speed is driving me nuts."
It's wild.
This line is awesome, but what does his height have to do with it? He's lying down. If he was fatter, he'd have had an advantage. This has been going through my head for weeks and is probably cripplingly obvious, but someone alleviate me, I beg you. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay,
I get it.
gimme.
Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
It's because his head is chopped off. He's now shorter than Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay. I get it now. But
Wow.
I'm taller now because you're down ahead like a whole foot. Okay. That
That's
doesn't
insane.
that's bad writing,
That's a
Joss.
crazy thing to say. I love that. Yeah, that was. a lot of the moments in that train sequence towards the end were moments that I was like gasping out loud,
Mm.
and none more so than Dennis Hopper getting decapitated, like that.
You don't see it coming. There's a lot of those like, oh God, like visceral over the top things that, like you said, like didn't need to go that far.
The
His
movie's sandwiched in that way. I mean, Dennis Hopper like stabs a guy in the ear when he finds him.
immediately,
Yeah,
like, and that's in the first scene. Immediately, like it didn't have to go that way. He could have just like had a silencer and a gun and just like took him out that way. Didn't
right.
have to stab him in the ear. Jesus.
You want to
And
know like my main connection to this movie?
is it? Oh, I know. It's the one lady, Helen, on the bus from Tu Wong Fu.
Uh, I mean, yeah, Beth Grant is great in this movie.
Yeah.
We have so many connections all across the board. But no, I was
So
going to say my main one is Dennis Hopper because one of the major movies, for whatever reason, that we grew up watching was Waterworld. Have you seen it?
yes, I remember seeing Waterworld.
With insane Dennis Hopper. That's the only movie I have ever seen with Dennis Hopper in it, and I've seen it probably 800 times.
He plays such a good bad guy. This early
He's so
90s,
great.
the early 90s was like a good niche for him to play just outlandish over the top bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
He was King Koopa in the
Now,
Super Mario Brothers movie.
is that the main bad guy or is that different from Browser?
Uh,
Browser.
Browser. Yeah, I think it is the same kind of thing as a Bowser uh equivalent. I don't know, but he's credited as King Koopa, I think. But yeah,
Wow.
he so like bad guy there, super bad guy in Speed, crazy bad guy in Waterworld. So like,
Crazy water, bald headed pirate gangster in
oh yeah,
Waterworld.
one eye kind of a thing. I do remember that. Yeah, wild. He is doing the absolute most
Yeah.
in this movie, and it is incredibly off-putting
He's
a
like,
lot of the times.
oh my god, like Moonstruck connections too. Like they took my hand. Um, yeah, he's got this crazy purple hand because he's an ex cop. Should I just do the plot description? What are we leading up to here?
I
We're
mean,
jumping around so much.
we're just jumping around. So yeah, we'll get to that. So also little thing, I know you love this. Won 2 Academy Awards.
Ooh, tell me more.
They won for best sound
Hmm.
and best sound effects editing.
I believe it.
And Joe,
The sound categories have evolved in like the Academy histories. Right now, it's kind of like just best sound,
mhm.
and maybe sound editing. It's gone kind of on and off.
Can
But
you?
one of them is more about like I think like how sound is portrayed in different environments, like underwater sound or like space sound and stuff like that. And another one is more like explosions and like effects type sound.
Yeah,
But they're not specifically about like music or anything like that.
sure. Yeah, like the best sound is probably like best balance and stuff like that, right? But best
Mhm,
sound
mhm,
effects editing is like they made that explosion sound realistic, or when he stabs him in the ear, it sounds like you're really stabbing a brain.
mhm. Yeah,
Probably.
I bet it comes up a lot in like creature films too. If like you get like a crazy alien movie where the aliens sound crazy,
Yeah, yeah.
that'll be cool. But yeah, no complaints with the sound in this movie. Movie sounds great.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what they took home, which is great. It's just another good notch in the belt of just being just a great, impressionable, long-lasting blockbuster of
I
the
mean,
early '90s.
that's the thing when we talk about blockbuster movies is that they're usually like hits kind of across the board. So you think about like Top Gun Maverick from this past year, which made $1.5 billion and was like called like the return of the big blockbuster, nominated for multiple Academy Awards, including Best Picture. You
Yeah.
know, so it's usually like a crossover hit in a way. If you really want to define a blockbuster,
Hmm.
the big ones are able to be crowd pleasers, but also like critically great as well. So like you have like Top Gun, you have Mad Max Fury Road took home like so many technical Oscars.
Yeah, as
Uh,
it should have. That movie fucking rules.
yeah, and these movies help kind of craft the direction of cinema in a way because
In a way.
all the new tech, all the big technical innovations with movies come in with these blockbusters,
Hmm.
right? Because they have the budget and they have the director and the vision to do these crazy visual and sound things, and then other movies down the road can then
Can
look
do that
towards
more.
these movies to like use them themselves. So you
Yeah.
think of movies like this, you think of movies like Lord of the Rings, coming up with crazy new ways to use practical effects.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's really they act as like checkpoints in the history of cinema in that way.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it can be a dual edged sword at some points where like you can get to the point of oversaturation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get like the big time summer flops or disappointments of, well, we threw everything we had at this movie. For some reason, the one that's jumping in my brain is Jupiter Ascending. I never saw it, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that it flopped hard. But it was one of those things that it was like right in the middle of summer. It had all these big names. We threw all this technology at it. It was the perfect launch date, all this stuff, and no one went to go see it because no one gave a fuck about it.
Well, Jupiter Ascending is like a super interesting example because that's a Wachowski's movie. That's
The
the people who
Matrix.
did the Matrix. And so you have a movie like that, and you have a movie like Speed. Both are posed as big blockbuster movies, big budget, big kind of action franchisey stuff. But what's the difference? Is that Speed is so easily understandable as a concept. Like you can summarize it in like two sentences
Yeah,
and then they just roll with it. Whereas Jupiter Ascending is trying to build an entire new universe that we're maybe not aware of. And
absolutely.
you get that with Jupiter Ascending, you get that with Cloud Atlas, you get that with like Valerian.
Hmm.
Remember that movie?
Yep.
Um, a lot of these movies that like kind of take place in space. But
Space
yeah,
is tricky. Space can be tricky.
space can be tricky.
Unless you're James Cameron, and then you can whip out Avatar, um, just like it ain't nothing, you
Well,
know.
I think the key when we're talking about blockbusters is like kind of keep it centralized around a single theme. So this when we talk about Speed, it's more like it's revenge and it's like this one problem he has to solve. And so we're kind of living in that world, and that way we can focus on the relationships between these characters because we are aware of the premise.
Hmm.
Whereas in these more complicated movies, you're kind of figuring out the premise the entire time,
The
and so
whole
there's no
time.
room for the movie itself.
Yep, it's wild. So yeah, why don't you just go ahead and just since you got your nut up, let's go ahead and just do the plot. Um, just in the interest of just the movie and everything. Um, I'm gonna give you, if you go under 50 miles an hour, speak 50 words a minute. Um, no, we're not gonna do that.
How can we possibly measure
I'm gonna give you 50 seconds.
Oh, you fucker. Okay.
50 seconds to do the plot. It's like speed, pop quiz, hotshot. You
We love
got
a
50 seconds.
theme.
We love a theme. You got 50 seconds to give me the plot. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Here we go. On your mark, get set, go.
Okay, Keanu Reeves plays a cop in LA in the 90s. His partner is Jeff Daniels. His boss is Joe Morton. They foil a plan of a terrorist ex cop guy who wants revenge on the cop industry for not paying him enough once. And then the cop decides to get revenge on Keanu Reeves by planting a bomb on a bus that will go off if the bus driver drives below 50 miles per hour. Keanu Reeves somehow gets onto the bus, and the bus driver gets shot. And so Sandra Bullock, one of the passengers, has to take over. So it becomes Keanu Reeves working with Sandra Bullock to keep the bus moving through LA traffic and eventually into an airport, while also trying to figure out how to get the passengers off without Dennis Hopper trying to explode it. They eventually figure out a way to like loop the camera that Dennis Hopper's watching so that they can get passengers off without him noticing. But then he figures out, he takes Sandra Bullock hostage, and then it all comes into a showdown on top of a train where they kill Dennis Hopper and they kiss at the end, and Jeff Daniels dies.
Yes, amazing. Nobody died. You managed to foil.
The amount of
Yeah.
people who die attempting to save the people on this bus maybe outweighs saving the people on this bus.
You would think, right?
What is that, like a 20-person SWAT team that just gets blown up
Immediately,
just
yeah,
in his house?
yeah. There's that. There's a couple casualties on the bus itself. Who knows the fallout from the incomplete subway track at the bottom? There's something there.
What is that? What where were they? Is nothing complete in LA? Like
That is the prevailing theory, right? People who are from LA are gonna see that and be like, "Ha, classic."
he can't break the train, like he can't get it to stop, and so his of course, like going by the movie's title, Keanu's strategy is to speed it up, baby. We're gonna crash through into what?
I was really, you know what? This movie would be perfectly at home with having another cheesy one-liner at the very end as he goes and like pushes the accelerator forward. It's just, we need more zhunk speed.
We're
Whoa.
gonna crank it up to 50 miles an hour.
And Sandy Bullock's in the back, just like, no, not 50 miles an hour.
So
The train can't take it.
let me just get my gripes with this plot out of the way, and then we can talk about, how fun this movie is.
Yeah.
There's no reason that the terrorist, Dennis Hopper, should want this bus to explode if it goes beneath 50 miles an hour. That goes against his plan. Why not just like put a bomb on the bus and let Keanu Reeves know? Obviously, we wouldn't have a movie, but there's no reason for it to have a speed element. It doesn't make sense.
It's just like additional complication, that like didn't need to happen. Okay, so yeah, you're right. That is a big gripe. And so this movie takes place over the course of 2 days or like a day and a half, barely, right?
Is it?
Right?
You mean
So
like
like,
with like the opening elevator sequence and stuff?
or actually no, it probably, I don't know how much time between the elevator sequence, the ceremony, the police ceremony that they
Mm-hmm.
go to, and then the next morning after the ceremony is the bus chase and the subway thing.
Oh yeah, that's probably like a few months. Yeah.
You think
You
so?
have the opening. It's like a few months because Jeff Daniels is like healed. First of all, in the elevator sequence, I thought it was really fun. Again, like you get like that contained sequence where it's like, how are we going to solve this problem? We have to get these people off of this elevator before it plummets and he blows the elevator, right? And so they kind of get them off. There's got to be some sort of phobia associated with like elevator doors slicing you in half.
Chopping you in half,
That's
yeah.
very much what happens as they're trying to get these people off. It's like slowly falling and the gap is getting smaller and smaller. And this one lady is like frozen and she can't really get off. And you think like, are they about to chop this lady in half? Like, is that going to be the opening of Speed? It is rated R.
They already stabbed a guy in the brain, so like, why not?
It ultimately ends with Keanu and Jeff Daniels realizing that Dennis Hopper's still in the building.
Yes.
They don't know where the terrorist is, but they realize for some reason that like he's probably watching them. He's keeping an eye on things. They find out where he's hiding. Dennis Hopper takes Jeff Daniels hostage, and then it starts this whole theme between them where Keanu and Jeff are like shoot the hostage to like get out of it. There's not really a whole lot of payoff with that one, but Keanu does shoot Jeff Daniels in the most inconvenient spot on his body.
Close to his femoral
halfway.
artery. Close to his femoral artery.
That is the one spot you're not supposed to shoot someone. He's like immediately bleeding out of his thigh. For some reason, this causes Dennis Hopper to like not kill him and just drop him instead, which just like go limp next time. But yeah, you need some time for that to heal, I think, because during the like medal ceremony, he's kind of walking. So I'd say a few months. And
he has a limp, he has a cane. So yeah, probably a few months. But like it plays out that like they foiled him the one day with the elevator, and then like a day later or a couple days later, he's rigged this elaborate bomb.
After, let's note, completely blowing up a separate bus with people on it. Like that's already happened. That's kind of just the thing he does to get Keanu's attention. And then he calls a payphone, which is such a cool image. Whenever someone like calls a payphone in a city, and like you just know it's for me, I have to pick that up.
Yeah, because no one else is around.
How do you call a payphone anyway?
How do you know?
You got to be in the mainframe. This guy's a hacker.
He's a hacker, man.
And so he calls Keanu. And this is the part where, like, if I was Keanu, I just wouldn't be able to do this because he's like, you have to locate this bus and get on it. And then there's a really fun sequence where Keanu kind of hijacks this guy's car and they have to chase down this bus. It hasn't even gotten above 50 miles per hour yet, so the bomb's not activated. Like, they could have just like slowed it down. Again, that's
shoot out the tires.
Wrong with his plan. Like, what if they never went above 50?
He would just probably remote detonate it anyway, just to be a butthole. But like,
right, that's the whole thing here is like just have the remote detonation. Obviously, not an entertaining movie. I'm not gonna like go crazy with that.
But like, he could have just shot out the tires and be like, "Oh, well, they're not gonna go anymore."
It is really funny to think like yes, this is what he has to do in order to convince this bus driver that he's not a crazy person and that there is a bomb on his bus, while also you can't slow down to figure out what's happening.
Right.
And so the first thing he does is like they write like bomb on bus and just kind of throw it at the window and it lands perfectly.
I
And
know.
then they're able to have like a scream conversation in between the two. Maybe that's where the sound Academy Award comes in. Is like there's a lot of like screaming during movement that happens, and you can hear
Yeah.
everyone super well.
But like the line that he's yelling prior to writing bomb on bus, he's trying to have the conversation with the bus driver like in the next lane over, and he's like, "I'm a cop," and it's
He
like,
looks
"Good
and
for
sounds
you."
like a crazy person.
Like, good for you. You're a cop. Whatever, dude. Fuck off.
Yeah.
There's a bomb on your bus.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Oh my God. It's
Like,
so
what does
crazy.
that mean?
I'm a
Um,
cop. There's a bomb on your bus. Great.
and then, like, you get a moment when he finally gets on the bus where one of the guys tries to shoot him, accidentally shoots the bus driver. That kind of puts Sandra Bullock into. Sandra Bullock, by the way, is a passenger on this bus. She's just kind of down on her luck. Her car's been impounded or whatever because she was speeding.
Speeding.
She's got so many one-liners in this movie while they're all dying. She is
They're great.
actively flirting with Keanu Reeves, which who among us, you know?
Would not, right?
Yeah.
I know, but like, come on, read the room, Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Read the room.
And so she kind of takes over as the driver, and then it becomes. You can tell how like the concept is really cool on paper. Like we've done like hostage negotiation situations and stuff like Die Hard. Let's put it all on a moving situation. So like the cops literally have to surround this bus to talk to Keanu Reeves and like shout through the window because this bus cannot slow down.
Yeah.
And so I was talking with Jonathan about like if this was real life, like how would we actually slow down this bus? You have to like set up some sort of like really fast treadmill situation and get the bus to ride onto it so it thinks the wheels are moving, and then you guys just jump off. But then all of that is foiled by the fact that yes, Dennis Hopper's watching them the entire time.
Yeah, he would just be like, "Oh, very funny." Haha.
Just blow them up, and he has a special pre-bomb in the doorway to blow up just one person who goes under the wheels very quickly.
See, like this could have turned into a Saw situation where he put bombs under like every seat,
right? Like
and just start blowing people up just individually.
No one can even get up. But no, they're playing by Air Force One rules. I mean, you got to kill a couple people in the hostage situation, but most people are going to get out.
Yeah. So yeah, R.I.P. Helen. Beth Gravy. Beth Grant. Beth Grant. Doing her best.
Doing great.
She got what she deserved, though.
Yeah, maybe don't try to get off the bus, Helen.
I mean, like, did no one else tell the other cops, like, on the on-ramp
They are
thing?
actively saying, like, Helen, get off the bus.
And she's like, they're calling.
Are they not aware of the situation?
See, and that's strike 7 for the cops here. You know, they just
made me so mad.
So mad. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about real quick, and we've kind of danced around this a little bit of like what makes this movie specifically a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we talked about, you know, our definition of how we're talking about what a blockbuster is. But yeah, so this movie was specifically expected to fail. Like it's an outlandish concept. Like Keanu Reeves, like the guy from Bill and Ted is going to lead this. Like whatever.
Was it like a tax write-off?
Yeah, right. And it was kind of like written off as like a Die Hard retread because it kind of was.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
The writer and director were obviously inspired by that movie, but they're like, so we love that, like, you know, cat and mouse kind of game, definite protagonist against an antagonist, kind of just like beefing it in a building. But like, what if we put that on a moving vehicle? And then they were just off to the races. And
it writes itself.
Yeah, history is written from there. Instead, you know, it turned Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock into superstars.
I do like about this movie how there are certain scenes where it fully takes advantage of the fact that like we are on a moving bus and there are problems that come with that. So it starts with like they're speeding through traffic, whatever, it's fine. They get onto the side streets. Okay, it's fine. We're like knocking off side mirrors of cars as we go past them.
Totally fine.
We're going, it's moving. We're going to like get to like this construction zone where there's no other cars and we can just like go for a few miles and figure this out.
Yep.
There's a turn that happens that they have to make. It's like coming up in a mile and a half. It's like a 90-degree turn and they're going 50 miles an hour. And Sandra Bullock's immediately like, this bus is going to fucking tip over. And so me in the audience, I'm like, how are they going to make this turn? Right. Because it is a full like city bus and those things are wobbly. And then Keanu, of course, saves the day, comes up with everyone get onto this side of the bus. We're going to use our body weight to freaking physics this shit. And the way they film it is great because it's like it's almost wobbling as Sandra Bullock is like really turning that wheel, and Keanu has to run over to like help her really turn the wheel. And everyone's kind of like almost teetering, and then it like tilts back and forth, and then we're good, and everyone's cheering. And then immediately we figure out 2 miles down the road, this highway fucking ends. We're gonna have to make a jump.
And that's where so like that sequence with the hard right turn, that is physics done moderately correctly. I bet that you can make that happen
to make up for the scenes to come.
To make up for the scenes to come, because like his logic is we're gonna jump it. It's like what? How big is that gap? It's like 50 feet. Like longer than the bus. Like I love
that like they make a point of showing that this bus only goes up to 70 miles an hour. Yeah. So like that's the peak that we are going over this jump, which it's not like jumping from a higher point to a lower point. They specifically show it's like a level.
But they say it like the line prior to that shot, which is just so bad. They're like, it's an overpass, so maybe there's like an incline.
There's not.
It's no incline. It's flat as fuck.
The way that they film it, like right as the bus goes over the edge, they're going like 70. They're flooring it. Sandy's flooring it. It literally like tilts back. I don't know how it does that. And then they land it, and it's amazing.
So for physics, they should have said, okay, we're going to floor it. Everyone to the back of the bus.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's what they should have done. Missed opportunity. Treat it like a boat. But yeah, so physics out the window. Fuck that. But okay, so we're going to jump into Keanu talk. So this role that he took on of Officer Jack Traven or whatever spurned kind of a new type of hero, a more realistic everyman type, kind of started with Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Yeah.
A little more human, as well as more of like an attainable physique.
Yeah, they're kind of these like working class guys. They're not necessarily like Rambo steroids cutting the people down.
Yeah. And then so like in that scene when he's doing the turn and he has to help her out, the shot of his forearms
looks real good.
Looks real good. And can we talk about his forearms for a second? I have a note that's at the bottom, but we're talking about his forearms. That scene is the first one, and you see it, and they're just like chiseled and sweaty. And then when he goes under the bus and he gets trapped and he's trying to pull back up, and he's just like Captain American himself up.
He's doing like a pull against gravity and stuff. And like friction. Yeah.
But again, his arms, specifically his forearms, ripped as shit.
Keanu looks really good in this movie.
He looks really good in this movie.
And hair looks really good in this movie.
I mean, just put those two alone without the speeding bus and explosions and everything, like this movie would make billions.
Yeah, you get the lake house, and it did make billions.
Did it? Yeah. Oh, that's right.
It didn't.
I forgot about that. It didn't.
We do have to recognize that speed is the start of the Keanu Sandra duology that ends with the lake house.
Apparently, Ryan told me this. She looked it up. They had a crush on each other on set.
Aww, shut up.
Yeah.
Who told you?
Who told her? I have no idea.
Nuh-uh.
But fucking adorable. But yeah, so the 3-act structure, non-traditional, but it's like we're in the elevator, we're going to the bus, we're going to the subway, is so insane but fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it so much, but like it all includes a runaway something.
It is like we're going to take these 3 maybe biggest forms of transportation in a city and like fuck them up. Like how far can we push this? Like we're going to escape this bus and it's still going to run directly into the largest airplane you've ever seen.
It's such a big goddamn airplane and it's going to be blown to smithereens. I'm
like,
sure
no one was on the airplane.
I know, right? It's how could they have known? Maybe not. But I want to see the whiteboard sessions of the writers and stuff of like, what else could we make go out of control? Like escalator? No, that's crazy.
So you know the story with James Cameron making the Alien sequel where he's hired to make the Alien sequel. He comes into the pitch room or whatever, and he just writes Alien on the board. And then he puts an S at the end and puts $signs through it. And so that's why the title is Aliens. And it's basically like, that's like the simplest concept you can find on a whiteboard, and it makes billions, right?
I love
Uh,
it.
I would love to see them like storyboarding out speed, and it's like we need something for the end of this movie. Someone just draws the most basic airplane
And
on this runway that the runaway bus, no one driving it, just has to run directly into to create the biggest explosion you've ever seen.
I would love to see and follow up on that joke of they're like, all right, Jean de Bon, you did great with Speed. We want you to make the sequel. We don't have a name for it yet. So whiteboard session, he writes Speed on the board. And then he writes S with a dollar
You
sign.
can do it with so many sequels.
Speeds.
Terminators, Toy
I mean, that'd be great.
Stories.
But Speeds. What does that even mean? Oh man. Okay, so all right, reeling it back in. That's great. I fucking love it. We'll talk about the sequel here in a second. But all right. So when this movie hit theaters, it knocked out the Flintstones movie that was in theaters at the time,
Oh, gas! Wow.
as well as it hit the theaters at the same time as City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold.
What's the deal with City Slickers?
It's Billy Crystal
Right.
bringing it back around.
Is it modern times and they're like city people and they go to a ranch, or is it in like 1800s?
It's the first one. It's great. I saw the first one a couple times, but I've seen the second one a bunch, and it's amazing. It's hilarious. It's classic Billy Crystal comedy. It's delightful.
It's a hole in my culture. We may need to cover it.
Yeah, it's got Dan Stearns
Home
from
Alone guy.
Home Alone, as well as John Lovitz, and it's hilarious.
That's an unbeatable team.
It's great. They play a great trio. But yeah, this movie fucking moves at a fast clip. There's very few dips in action and momentum. Like you said, like the Harry scenes where he's trying to solve the mystery. Like I would have loved a little more of that instead of just like, we got to find him. I think he's a cop. And they're like, I found it. He's a cop. Like you said.
Yeah,
Let's go get him.
apart from the opening, Jeff Daniels kind of filmed his scenes for this in like 3 days, separate from everyone else. And then his whole point of the story is figuring out like who Dennis Hopper is, which turns out to be this old disgruntled cop, because they figure out like the trigger for the bomb on this bus is this old watch that he got for like retiring, and they didn't give him enough of his pension or whatever, and he lost his hand, and he didn't get paid enough, and so now he's like, I want a very specific amount of 3 point whatever $million,
and it's just like, dude, just
after
round
which
up.
I'm going to disappear. What's the plan here?
He didn't think it all the way through, and that's what makes him a flawed villain. But like, ask for 5 million, dude.
Right.
Shit, round it up to 10.
It's almost harder to get you like a decimal point here.
Yeah, you are causing way more trouble for me to try and get $3.7 million. Like, I got to go to another bank.
Right.
Because you want non-sequential big bills? Like, dude, come on.
When he says, okay, talking shop here. When he says non-sequential bills, what does that mean?
So each printed dollar bill, not even dollar, like 10, whatever, paper bill is printed with a serial number on it. That's so you know that you have this one specific dollar was created for this purpose, and it's in sequential order.
Paper, yes.
And it's in sequential order to be distributed out into the world. But that means he wants non-sequential, so it's harder to track. So if he goes to spend that money somewhere and the banks or whatever read it and they're like, oh, we got like 7 bills in a row that are sequential, and they're like, that's suspicious.
Wow.
You know?
That's
but it's also kind of dumb because it takes a long time to kind of do that. But anyway, we're in a cashless society, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever.
There's like a tertiary plot of like some random cop underling having to go to 30 banks in 3 hours to figure out like non-sequential bills with this guy's money.
And he's just like waiting in line because there's like an old lady trying to cash her check.
Cuts to him every half hour, like some wacky things happening.
He spills his coffee in the car and he's like, well, now I got to deal with this.
There's like a dog chasing him.
Big time mailman vibes. I love it. But yeah, so this score absolutely slaps. It's burned into my memory. I love it so much, just like you love the T2 theme. Okay, so let's talk for a second about the disastrous sequel. That sequel, so for comparison, Speed has like a 94% approval rating on
I was
on Rotten
Tomatoes to see that, like very well received critically,
which it's hard to kind of pick apart other than like thinking critically. But
Other than logic and physics.
logic, physics, critical thinking, that kind of stuff. But the sequel, Cruise Control, Speeds 2 Cruise Control, is at 4%. And it just got eviscerated
What a drop off.
because it is a retread, essentially. And Keanu doesn't even come back. It's
Mhm.
Jason Patrick. And everyone's like, who the fuck
Right.
cares?
Why do I know that name? Who is Jason Patrick?
I don't know. He did this movie and then I stopped caring.
Is he like the main action guy in Cruise Control?
Yeah, so like the start of the movie, like it's a throwaway line. Like Sandra Bullock and Keanu break up because he has an outlandish, adventurous lifestyle, and she can't handle it. So she needs to break up with him,
He was
and she
bad
could
in bed.
right. He's bad in bed. He's a bad influence. He's a bad apple. She's like, I need a vacation with my new boyfriend, Jason Patrick. But
Hmm.
turns out he is just as adventurous, thrill seeking. He's like an ex cop or is a cop or something like that. But they go on a cruise ship, and not Dennis Leary, who's Green Goblin in Spider Man, the first one.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe is the villain,
I
and
mean,
he's got like a blood disease, and
excellent.
he's got like a blood disease where he's got to like put leeches on his body. It's weird.
What?
It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, like the cruise ship is going like a couple knots faster than it needs to, and
So
it's wild.
Sandra's not connected to the villain. She just happens to be in another like speed velocity
Can't believe it.
related issue. She's like, this again.
Not this again.
She
How
goes
did I get?
up to like the helm or whatever, and she's like, I guess I'll drive. And the captain's like, get the fuck out of here.
She's like, no, I've done this before. And
You
it's
guys,
like,
I
I
know
don't care.
exactly what to do. Where is he recording us?
Let's go to the nearest bridge. It's like, man, that's not how traveling on a boat works. We're gonna flip this boat.
It
We're
just
gonna take.
becomes Poseidon.
But yeah, the guy with the Jaguar shows up again in Speed 2. He also gets commandeered. He has like a speedboat or something that Jason Patrick has to commandeer, and he's
See,
the same thing of just like, not again.
that's fun. That's what I want in a sequel. Yes.
But I also saw that movie a ton as a kid
Mhm.
in 1997, probably the year after 98, when it came to the Dollar Theater that was around the corner from the apartment that we were living in at the time. And
Okay.
and it was a dollar theater, so I would save up my quarters or whatever, and I would go to the theater all the time. I
Justin,
saw
whimsical childhood alert. What the hell?
me and like a couple other kids from the complex, we would walk through like, the woods to the other side where the dollar theater was, and we would go watch Speed 2. I watched Speed 2 a ton there. I watched Liar Liar there a bunch, and
That's
I
fun.
watched the first Austin Powers there
Oh,
a
that's
ton.
so great.
Those are the 3 movies that I saw so much at that
Little
theater.
Justin in the Dollar Theater.
But yeah, Speed 2 Cruise Control has a special place in my heart, only for that reason, but that movie does fucking suck.
Do you think the writer or advertising person who came up with the title Cruise Control just like had a thought bubble one time and then had to get up, go outside and like hold their head between their legs and like throw up a little bit because they realize they're about to make billions off of this title?
Honey, get the studio on the line. I've got an idea. Pack
Buy
your
buy the
bags.
4-bedroom. We're doing it. We're doing it now.
Go ahead, buy it. Like,
We're having another kid.
I don't care what I don't care what the doctors say. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna cure your mom. Cruise control, baby. Cruise control. I know.
And then I'm gonna pitch them on the third one. Speed 3, check engine light.
Speed 4, low wiper fluid.
That's amazing. What else we could do with this? Speed 5, you left your gas tank.
Oil change. It takes place on an oil tanker that doesn't move.
Ooh, yeah. But it's in like the Middle East, so like
yes, political.
Yeah,
Very post 9/11 movie.
that's right.
Very like broadly received. Very divisive.
I love it. And then that's where it peters out, and then they do a hard reboot, and
Oh,
they
like
call it Speed again. Yeah.
Speed Again or like Speed the prequel, where it's like just fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
reverse speed. It becomes a time travel movie.
And then 10 years later, they do another retread where it's the history of Dennis Hopper's character,
Wow.
right? It's the coming of the villain kind of thing. Kind of like what they're doing with Wonka, you know?
So it's, oh my God, his name is Howard Payne. This writes itself.
Pain.
Payne, the Speed Reborn remix.
It's called House of Pain. And it
It's an
starts with this,
intense indie drama about this cop and his family.
and it's like, yeah, it's a hard-hitting family drama. And there's crying, there's tears, there's breaking down. It's like, my thumb, I lost my hand.
My head. He just slowly becomes more and more like addicted to bombs as the film goes on. He's got a weird relationship with like explosions in this movie. There's like a monologue that he has where he's like, it's somewhat of like a cleansing fire type thing. He's like, the world will go down in fire.
I will build the biggest bomb.
What's the point of making the bomb if you don't blow it up?
This dude hates edging. Like, he can't
This
wrap his head
guy-
around the concept.
This guy figured out like what's the concept with like nuclear stuff? It's like deterrence. He hates that so much. He wants everyone to fire the bombs
Blow up.
immediately.
You got to use it, or else if you don't use it, you lose it. And he heard that at a very young age, and he comes back around. And House of Pain's jump around is the slowed down version for the trailer. It's amazing. We'll call Hollywood.
Tyler Perry's House of Pain.
Oh, there you go. Do a flip it. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Iconic lines and scenes. There's so many one-liner, insane quips. But there's some really good ones in there. Obviously, that stands out is Pop Quiz Hot Shot, which is uttered by Jeff Daniels at the beginning, but Dennis Hopper is hearing it, and he uses that later to be like, "Hey, I was listening to you."
It's more than just the one line. Every time a character says pop quiz hotshot, they proceed to give a pop quiz with like multiple answers and stuff.
That's
like
how
it's
it works.
very on the spot improv. It's kind of nice.
You love to see it. Yeah.
We forget that like when Dennis Hopper's character is beheaded, there's actually two one-liners that come after it. There's obviously like "but I'm taller," which we now understand.
Yeah.
And then he gets back down into the train car with Sandra Bullock, and she's like, "What happened to the guy?" And he's like, "He lost his head," or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all I want out of this movie.
He's just full of riz at that point. He's like,
he is unstoppable at this time.
He's like, what are we going to do next? He's riding the high.
And word for word, the last line of this movie after they crash this train, and it's just them in this train car, is them talking about dating, and Sandra Bullock says, "I guess we'll have to base it on sex then." Credits.
And he's like
a rock song credits as they're like laughing and kissing.
Yeah, just taking in the morning that they just had. What a morning.
Do you think everyone who first saw this in theaters had like the Breakfast Club freeze frame walkout when they left?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Like, that is great. I am just just ready for the day.
Just rousing.
Yes. I am aroused
in the morning.
Yeah, right. The let's see. So yeah, Sandra Bullock's introduction to this movie is so cute. She is so endearing, and she grounds this movie emotionally. I think this last go around, she has a lot of the real reactions to a lot of the stuff that happens because of the fucking baby carriage scene.
Oh my God.
Her reaction to that is so good.
When has someone ever put soup cans into a baby carriage?
That's just a down on your luck.
She has killed an infant, and no, it's just soup cans that we ran into back there, which thank God.
But her reaction is just so like amazing, relatable.
She sells it, and you think like, "Fuck, is she about to just slow down this bus and kill everyone?" No, she is flooring it the whole time on this.
Like, I guess I'm killing a baby.
Yeah.
Don't get dead is such like a weird thing for Mac, the police leader, whatever, to say.
Mm-hmm.
But that is obviously like a Joss Whedonism kind of thing. Of just like, what's a fun way to say like, don't get yourself killed, don't get dead, and it's.
He seems like a good boss. I mean, overall.
Yeah. One of the last lines, he's like, maybe I'll give you the rest of the day off.
It's very much like, this is the Joe Morton character who's also in Terminator, It's very much like he'll step into a scene like right after Keanu Reeves does something crazy, and he'll just kind of like shake his head like, Keanu, like, you crazy, man. And that's the vibe for the entire movie, even as like these crazy terrorist things are happening.
Right? Yeah, they're just so nonchalant about it, and that's what really makes me hate the cops so much in this movie. It's just because they are incredibly inept.
The
And
cops and the press are like actively trying to kill the people on this bus.
yeah, it's wild. But yeah, Joe Morton's mustache fucking rips. Love it so much.
Yeah.
And the Keanu obnoxious gum chewing in the beginning drives me bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
But it plays to his character of just like I'm just like a wild card
He's
kind of
got
thing.
this like hotshot vibe. You can tell he's maybe like the youngest one there as part of this SWAT team, but like he's confident for a reason. Like he's fucking good at this job. This is what he's meant to do.
Yeah,
And so he's got very protagonist vibes.
yeah, it's
Justin,
great.
we are going so out of order here.
Mhm.
Should we cue up the trailer for this movie and then talk cocktails real quick?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some talk cock, and then we'll hit this. We'll hit this trailer.
Let's do some cocktails.
All right, pop quiz. Airport. Gunman with one hostage. He's using her for cover. He's almost to a plane. You're 100 feet away.
What do you think? Shoot the hostage.
What?
Go for the good wound and he can't get to the plane with her. Clear shot.
You're deeply nuts. You know that?
And then that stuck with him. He's like, "Well, I'm going to shoot you near your nuts, so better watch out."
That's a really
All right,
good
gentlemen,
one.
what we have here are 13 passengers in an express elevator. Bomb's already taken out cables. Bomber wants $3 million or he blows the emergency brakes.
Anything else that'll keep this elevator from falling?
The basement.
He can strike anywhere, at any time.
Will the mystery guest please sign in?
Why are they messing with me? Do they think I'm doing this for fun?
For LA cop Jack Traven,
Tell me again, Harry, why did I take this job?
Come on, 30 more years of this. You get a tiny pension and a cheap gold watch.
Cool.
the game began
Very exciting, Jack. Some close calls, huh?
when someone put the city of Los Angeles to the ultimate test.
Pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up. What do you do? What do you do?
Now,
Are you insured? Yeah, why?
he's the only solution.
We just got a ransom demand from your terrorist. Says he's rigged the city bus. Where's Jack?
Where do you think?
Stay on or get off.
Get off.
This is much better.
Everybody hold on!
Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, Sandra Bullock.
Pop quiz. You have a hair trigger aimed at your head. What do you do? What do you do?
Speed. Get ready for rush hour.
Yeah, that was Speed 6, Rush Hour. Rush Hour traffic. Oh, no.
That's a pretty great trailer. I wonder if people are confused by the elevator of it all, because like that's very much the opening scene of this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the one thing I wanted to kind of make a reoccurrence in the movie is like him shooting the hostage. Like I fully expected him to, like, when Sandra Bullock is taken hostage at the end of this movie and they're kind of in the subway, I wanted that to come up like one more time. Like, am I going to shoot Sandra Bullock in the arm or something to get, like, that would have been badass.
Well, I think Dennis Hopper says it. He's like, I don't think you're going to shoot her.
Yeah, they do they address that a little bit.
Yeah, just
He's
a
like,
little.
you're not going to shoot this one after you shot Jess Daniels.
Yeah. Who's already blown up. He's still smoldering across town.
Jeff Daniels is actively burning as the credits roll at the end of this movie. I want everyone to know that.
Yeah.
Like they can't get into the house in time to get his body. Like that shit's burning.
Well, like they said, Dennis Hopper said, he's like they pick you up with the mop. You know, there's no pieces there.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, he's gone.
he's gone, dude. Make peace with your God.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to talk about the ineptitude of the police officers in this movie, just because I feel like it is my duty. Yeah, the showing up on the scene of, a seemingly innocuous hijacking of an elevator is insane. Every cop in LA shows up. Um, the cops on the freeway are just, out of the loop. They have no idea what's going on, and that's what gets that's part of what gets Helen killed. Part of it is her own ineptitude.
Helen
But
panics, and you can't panic in Speed.
there is no panic in Speed. There's no PAN or I or C in the word speed. So get out of here. um, let's see. Where else are cops terrible? They're just terrible throughout this whole movie. Yeah, the bomb squad just going in there, just insane, without sending in like a bomb squad or something like it's crazy.
The terrorist is an ex-cop.
Yeah, like
All we
you
got
should.
is a watch.
Yeah, you should know better.
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie is bonkers, but I love it so much. Cheers to you, Joe. All right, so this is what I got here. This is a beer in a glass,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a little sidecar with it, which I'm calling the Wildcat Bomb.
Okay, you love a sidecar. Tell me more.
I mean, so it's like a purple drink. It's vodka, blue curacao, grenadine, and cranberry juice to make it purple, because by some kind of Mandela effect, I misremembered the logo on her sweater of the University of Arizona being purple, but it's not. It's gray. But my brain wanted it to be purple, so I made a purple drink to go.
It's purple if you want it to be purple.
It's purple in my heart. It's purple in here where it counts.
It's Speed, baby.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And that's the Wildcat Bomb. So I'm going to drop it in here and drink it while you introduce your beverage.
Okay. I'm calling mine the Cheap Gold Watch. It's Lillet Blanc, triple sec, lemon juice, brandy, spiced pear liqueur, and then topped with ginger ale. And so
Good Lord.
there's definitely like a gold aura to it, but the little twisty I have here is that I have a secondary container that I am topping off this cocktail with, because I have marked off the 50% mark on this cocktail. If it gets below 50, we will die, and I'll have to drink the entire drink.
I love it. We love a bit. We love a theme.
I cannot take credit for this drink at all. It was fully Jonathan's idea.
Even on his sick deathbed, he came up with that idea.
Yeah, he was like, "You're going to do this."
I love it. He's stepping up his game. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, it's tasty. It tastes like an apple pie.
That's amazing. You'll have to make that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the recipe and do it myself. But yeah, that's our drink corner. That's the Wildcat Fizz and the Cheap Gold Watch.
Very nice.
Another fun thing that Ryan pointed out to me is by the time we get to the end of the movie, she's like, "How many insane explosions are we going to see?" This is like that thing where everything is cake, but in this movie, everything's a bomb. The elevator, the bus, the house,
stairs.
Annie was a bomb the whole time. The reveal, so crazy.
It's like Fight Club, how there's like a Starbucks cup in every scene. Like there's a bomb in every scene of this movie.
Yeah, if blink and you miss it.
Can you find the bomb?
Yeah, you couldn't make this movie again post 9/11, just because they say bomb and terrorist a whole bunch.
They just say bomb and terrorist a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, Joe, so here we are towards the end games. Do you have any final thoughts about Speed?
It's always been on my radar. I'm glad it was so well received in its time. I think you can clearly see it as like a turning point in terms of like contained, like stressful situations. Let's see how far we can ramp it up. Like you have Die Hard leading into this, and then we talked about how you have this movie leading into more really great action sequences going forward. And so like you can really see the ripple effects of this one.
Yeah, it's great. Did you have a good time with it? Did the household have a good time with it?
We did, especially in the subway sequence towards the end, where I feel like the the bombs, the violence, the one-liners all get kind of ramped up to an 11. They're just like, we got to throw all this shit in and wrap this up.
Yeah.
It gets insane.
All logic goes out the window. He's like, I got to speed this up. There's a turn coming. We're just going to jump the rails. Fuck it.
We're going to fully decapitate this man.
And then when we're done, Sandy, you and me, we're going to fuck. It's going to be amazing. We're going to kiss so hard and everyone's going to watch. It's amazing. All right, Joe, here we are. We're at the end games. We're going to play a game, and it's going to be so much fun.
Oh, God.
You better buckle up.
If there's a speed...
Pop quiz, hot shot.
All right, Joe, we're playing Pop Quiz, Hot Shot.
Was the one lyric to that the word speed?
Yep. It's just speed. Joe, so what we're going to do, this is Pop Quiz, Hot Shot. You have 50 seconds to answer as many questions correctly as possible. Some of these are multiple choice, some aren't. It's just you're going to have to just wait till I stop talking.
What's the theme here? Like, what are we answering?
Speed related questions.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try my best to hold up the timer over here and then just ask questions to you. Okay. All right. Are you ready? The timer will start as soon as I finish asking the first question. Are you ready?
Okay. So some are multiple choice and some are not?
Yep.
Okay. Go for it.
Who is the fastest person in the world? Is it Tyson Gay or Usain Bolt?
I'm going to say Usain Bolt.
Correct. How fast is the speed of sound? 343 meters per second, 1,128 feet per second, or 770 miles per hour?
The feet per second one, the middle one.
Wrong. They're all correct. What is the fastest land animal? The pronghorn or the cheetah?
Cheetah.
That is correct. What is the top speed of the bus in the movie Speed? 80 miles per hour or 70?
70.
Correct. In the hit film Jurassic Park, who says the iconic line, must go faster?
Jeff Goldblum.
In the iconic film Independence Day, who says the iconic line, must go faster?
Is it Jeff Goldblum?
Correct. Canonically, who's the faster superhero, the Flash or Quicksilver?
The Flash?
Correct. The average human sneezes typically how fast? About 100 miles an hour or 200 miles an hour?
100 miles an hour.
Correct. What is the equation for physics and speed? Is it speed equals time elapsed over distance traveled, or speed equals distance traveled over distance time elapsed?
The second one.
That is correct. You got you missed 1 out of 9.
Did you have any more, or did we run out?
Right. There's a couple more.
Give me bonus ones.
We'll just take our time. Yeah. In the state of Georgia, if pulled over for going 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, how many points are added to your license?
Oh fuck! Is it like 3?
It's 2.
Oh, okay.
And how long are the opening credits to the movie Speed?
80 years.
Correct. It's too goddamn long. Absolutely.
It is too goddamn long.
It is insane, the length of the credits at the beginning.
You're going from floor 80 down to floor number 1. And
we're taking the time. And we're going to show you everybody who worked on this movie.
Assistant to Mr. Hopper.
The assistant to the assistant of the regional manager.
Person who filled up the gas on the bus.
That one person who was in a flyby shot. He's in it.
You are credited in this movie.
Welcome to Speed.
Listener.
This movie would make a great ride at Universal Studios, I bet, if this was a Universal Studios joint. I would rather see this than the Fast and Furious ride.
Yeah. The Fast and Furious and then like the Transformers one, I feel like kind of copy each other a little bit. They're like they do the thing that the Spider-Man ride does, where it's like it switches between real ride and like screens and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the closest ride you get to Speed is like there's something in Epcot that's like a speed test run thing where you just go really fast around like a racetrack.
So I know in the previous episode we were talking about Terminator 2 and how there was a Terminator ride at Universal Studios. There was also a Twister ride. Joe, did you know that?
Yeah, I went on it.
You did? It's
like
awful.
10 years ago, yeah.
It was bad.
The one thing I remember is like obviously like the cow floating by, but it's mainly like you're just standing there and you're watching like a big action-y presentation.
Yeah, it's a big room and you stand in a room and then it just happens in front of you and then you leave. And that's the ride. That's Twister the ride. It's awful. Anyway, Universal Studios, listen to our idea. Let's bring back Speed.
Bring back Speed, both the movie and the illicit substance.
Let's do one of those like rebrand re-releases of Speed. Like it's a reboot, but not. It's Keanu Reeves, but he's like a retired police chief, and he gets caught in the same situation of just like, not this again. And he's grizzled and tired. And Sandy B shows up somehow.
She's like, Keanu, I guess it's time to speed.
And Jeff Daniels is like his Force ghost. That'd be great. I'd love to see it. It'd be great. We would get butts in seats, I bet.
When we talk about blockbuster culture, we got to talk about sequel culture. Like they're hand in hand. Like
they are now
bound to be a sequel to this movie, and 9 out of 10 times it's bound to suck. And so this is a cautionary tale. But then sometimes you strike gold and you hit like 10 movie franchises, and that's why people keep doing this stuff.
Yep. We will add Speed 2 Cruise Control to our bucket list of just like maybe we'll get around to it, because that'd be great. That'd be so much fun to subject you to this terrible 4% Rotten Tomatoes movie.
We're gonna have to have a mini series at some point that's just like the worst movies we've ever seen. Because like we're way too positive about our movies. We need to talk shit about movies one of these days.
It's a shitty movie, but I do love it because it is so shitty. Troll 2. Have you ever seen Troll 2? Did you know about Troll 2?
I haven't seen any of the Trolls.
Okay, well, this has nothing to do with Troll 1, so we will add it to the list.
I've seen Trolls World Tour. Is that it?
Different. It's different. We'll add it to the bucket list. Great. All right, so that has been the UCU Does Speed. Join us in the next coming weeks where Joe will take over and be the know-it-all. I'll be the uncultured for Joe. What movie are we going to close out this Blockbusters miniseries with?
We decided on Blockbusters, and there was only one movie that came to mind when I thought about Blockbuster. It was a movie I watched a lot growing up. It is a blockbuster based on the rules that we have defined. It was extremely popular. It made a lot of money. It kind of paved the way technically for a lot of things.
Oh my God.
It is not really on the list of blockbusters when you think about blockbusters, even though it is kind of an action movie too. We will be watching the stop motion movie Chicken Run in the second half of July. Justin's never seen it, and I am very excited to show him this.
I'm so excited. The only thing I know about this movie, and I think it's right, Zach Braff voices a character in this movie.
Oh, no. You're thinking of Chicken Little, which is the Disney movie.
Oh, well, then I have no idea about this movie. This is great.
Is fully different. It's fully stop motion. So the same people who made like Wallace and Gromit made.
Yeah. This is great.
It's going to be real good.
Instead of maybe cocktails, maybe we have like a little appetizer and we bring little chicken meats.
Oh my God, a little chicken, a little cheese.
Little chicky things. That'd be great.
Ooh, little pigs in a blanket.
That'd be great. All right. Cool. So be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks as we close out July. And then we're moving into summer vacation.
I think we've roughly defined it as like summer vacation / like summer road trip movies.
Yeah, for August.
We've already given a teaser for mine, but Justin is TBD at this point.
Oh no, my friend.
Oh, have we picked one?
Yeah, we picked one. We're gonna do Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, we're doing Forgetting Sarah Marshall
in August.
Okay,
yeah.
Very fun. I'll watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and then we will be wrapping up the month of August with a in-person Wussy Mag showing at the Plaza Theater here in Atlanta of The Parent Trap, which Justin shockingly has not seen.
And the lady from the movie is going to be there.
This is the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, and Meredith from the movie is going to be there.
Yeah, she's going to be there. She liked a couple of our posts on Instagram, Joe.
It's the biggest thing that's ever happened to us, and I'm really excited to talk about it.
I know. I can't wait. Anyway, that's been the Uncultured Cinematic Universe. Catch us on YouTube and Instagram, UCU Podcast. And tell your friends, tell your grandma. She'll have a good time with this movie, with Speed.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.